I can look surprised. Oh. I can look confused.
You're making those sound effects right now.
That's me. I can even laugh if
My
you say
generation
something funny. Here,
has grown up in a world
take a look at your own.
where the line between social media and reality has become seamless, yet we act as if it's distorted. Following people on social media, but not uttering a sentence in reality. Having a vast amount of followers, but in person you sit alone. And my favorite, leaving comments usually with emojis under a picture, yet ask somebody of my generation the last comment they left in person with actual words. Social media is our virtual reality. Have you thought about it? We're in a void of the constant seeking of approval and happiness. And what do? What do we turn to? Our virtual reality, social media.
We're good at showing people that life is amazing even though I'm depressed. We know, the science is clear, we know that people who spend more time on Facebook suffer higher rates of depression than people. And like all addiction, in time it'll destroy relationships, it'll cost time, and it'll cost money, and it'll make your life worse.
Have you ever asked yourself, how has it affected us? I have. I see it around us constantly. There is something to be said about how much we have become sociable in a virtual world, but not in the one we exist in. Passing people usually with our heads down, hesitant to look up from the ground, or entering our virtual world as a lousy excuse for why we didn't see each other. I know couples who seem to be happy in their virtual world, but in reality are miserable because that's their virtual reality. I know people who pose to be hip, cool, nonchalant, but in reality actually care and don't eke a hint of confidence because that's their virtual reality. I know people who wear this in their virtual world, but you see them in reality and they don't wear that at all because that's their virtual reality. When we see our virtual reality as that, but our actual reality as this, we have found a way to make the line between what's real and what's not distorted when they are merely connected. Let me elaborate. In Ernest Cline's Ready Player One, the population is constantly in their virtual reality. Let's make a connection very quickly. Of course, it's a hyperbole, but bear with me. Virtual reality takes on every aspect of their life and destroys it in their real world. It's a dystopia. If every aspect of their life has been put into a virtual world, why do they have to work on the real one? If their utopia is in a headset, then what's outside of it doesn't matter. If they want a perfect world, they don't have to work for it. Just create it. They're instant gratification. The difference between their virtual reality and ours is that only one aspect has been taken. That's our social interactions. How come their virtual world is so perfect, but in reality, it isn't? Likewise, how come our virtual world socially is perfect, but in reality, it isn't?
Binge. You don't even have to wait week to week to week, right? I know people who skip seasons.
Let's focus on that term I used, instant gratification, also used by Simon Sinek.
Instant gratification.
We're so used to having things in an instant that when we have to work for it, in this case social interaction, we find it a challenge. So a girl or guy you're interested in, just follow him on Instagram and see if you get a follow back.
Instant gratification.
You want to see if people find you attractive or not? Post a picture on Instagram and see if you get some likes.
Instant gratification.
Hell, you want to go on a date or hook up tonight? Make a profile on Tinder and constantly swipe right.
Instant gratification. You want to go on a date? You don't even have to learn how to be like, hey.
You want to find love? Just make a... Right.
There ain't no app for that.
Okay, how about trust?
There ain't no app for that.
Right.
They are slow, meandering, uncomfortable, messy processes.
We find these things that take social skills difficult to make palpable because they aren't something that you can get instantaneously. You have to work for them. We only exist behind a screen. Yet when reality, comes to shove with the things that aren't behind the screen, we look up and can't shove back. Okay. Now, I don't want to sound like we're on the verge of an existential crisis. I just want to ask, can we be wary of our surroundings? Look up from your screen, exit your virtual reality, and look at the reality that is placed in front of you. Does it reflect what's on the screen? Does the emotion that you portray, the person that you want others to see, and the sociability that you pursue in your virtual world reflect that of your reality? My generation tends to separate these two, virtual reality and reality, when there's a thin line between them. And when it does cross with things that can't be done through an app, we hit a brick wall every single time. Because when we see our virtual reality as that, but our actual reality is this, we have found a way to make the line between what's real and what's not distorted when they are merely connected.